My name is Ann Fogolin. I am what is called a peer support volunteer here. So my role is to support new members and their families and help them navigate through this journey of cancer.
That's wonderful.
Our journey into WellSpring was about 18 years ago when my husband was diagnosed. And at the time we were told that he was very, very ill. And just the way it was shared with us that he probably wasn't going to make it. We found WellSpring through the Sunnybrook staff, and we used their services. So the parent-child program is how we were introduced to that. My kids were 10 and 8. I have twins that were 8. And they were in the child portion of the program while we were in with the therapist with the adults. And it was very interesting because my children were not thrilled about going, or so they said. And then we would get to the center and my husband would barely have enough time to back the truck up and stop before they'd be flying out the doors. So what was very interesting is that I knew that it was really supporting all of us, which is what I felt we needed. I lost my dad when I was 14 to cancer, and at that time people didn't talk about it very much with children, so they didn't have that kind of information. I wanted my kids to have more of an informed journey. And because of my husband's diagnosis as being as bleak as it was, I wasn't sure what we were headed for. Thankfully, he's still alive and living, and all is good. Yeah. So absolutely, without a doubt. So when there's a diagnosis, it's not just the member's diagnosis, it's not just that patient, it becomes a family diagnosis. And knowing how to support everybody in that process is really important. Communication is so critical, and most families have really good communication. They talk to each other. When we have a diagnosis like this, the patient often doesn't share a whole lot because they don't want to impose, they don't want to cause more worry or fear or anxiety on the family. Equally so, caregivers have a really difficult time in that they're trying to make sure that they can navigate their journey while supporting the family member, the patient. And so where communication may have been pretty good, or the opportunity for disconnect. There's fear, anxiety, resentment, anger, all kinds of emotions. So it's really about helping the caregivers, the members of the family, understand how they can navigate through their emotions and be supportive of what the patient might need. When there's a cancer diagnosis, it's almost as though your life doesn't exist anymore. It becomes all about the cancer. And that can be very overwhelming. You're more than just cancer. It just happens to be something you're dealing with now. And people don't know how to respond to that. So that's what we do here. And so my role as peer support is to allow a very safe place for people to come and share and to vent and to be angry and to be worried and to be frightened and allow it to be okay. To make something as okay or normal of something that's not okay or normal. The caregivers, I can tell you honestly, I remember a time as a caregiver, you feel very helpless. There's someone that you love and you don't know how to support them. You don't know what to do. So coming through our front doors is often one of the greatest signs of courage because it makes it very real. This is not a club that many of us would raise our hand and say, oh, pick me, I want to join that club. But it is what it is. This diagnosis doesn't care what the color of your skin is, what your race or religion is, it doesn't matter. And when you come in through our doors, what we hope that you experience is the fact that we've all been here. We know that this diagnosis, whatever it is not what any of us would want for anyone. But when you come in here, you're in with a group of people who understand and are willing to support you in your journey, in offering what you need, not based on what we think you should be doing or where you should be going. What do you need, Sophia, and how can we support you and your family in that journey? My husband used to say to me, I think this is harder on you than it is on me. And it was, he did a marvelous job of getting through surgery and chemo and radiation. I mean, it was a long journey, but we really wanted to make sure that he could focus on that. So the rest of it was, kids and house and whatever. You do what you need to do. You go into autopilot, right? But to your point, caregivers often are very stoic, and I don't want to lean on anyone else, and I can take care of this. To have a place where you can go and be honest and say, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm scared. Yeah. And allow that to be okay is an amazing opportunity. So that's what we do here. And so I can tell you honestly, what was very interesting is that when I started here almost 10 years ago, the child parent program that we were in needed a volunteer, and the therapist that was running it was the very same one that had worked with my children all those years ago. So I got to work with her, with the children's group. Oh, I have goosebumps telling you this. I got to work with her, and it was just, full circle when you think about things coming full circle, and it was just the most amazing experience. I guard my time here. I work, but my Wednesday afternoons are guarded. This is sacred time for me because this grounds me. It doesn't matter what's going on in my life. When I come here, it puts everything in perspective. My life is really pretty good, and it doesn't matter what aches and pains you have, what issues you have. You're not dealing with what some of these members are dealing with, and they walk through this journey with such grace and poise and courage.
A wonderful and remarkable thing.
It is a gift to me, Sophia, every week. It is a gift to me, and what's very, very cool about all of this is that my oldest daughter is now volunteering here too.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so she has, she's become part of the exercise program here as a kinesiologist, and so she comes in and volunteers her time, and what's amazing is that she'll come home and say, I love that place. My Thursdays are my favorite day. So she gets to meet these amazing human beings, Like I said, it goes full circle.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.